The debate erupted the moment Devin Haney's hand was raised. After defeating Brian Norman Jr. to become a three-division world champion, his fans immediately rushed to declare a new king in the sport, pushing a bold question into the boxing conversation. Is Devin Haney now more accomplished than Gervonta Tank Davis? Has the crown shifted? Has the balance of power changed? For many, the victory marked a defining moment in Haney's career, elevating him into rare historical territory. Yet for others, the comparison itself revealed something deeper about the current landscape of boxing and who truly holds influence within it. The reaction alone tells a story. When Gervonta Davis wins, nobody rushes to ask whether he has passed Devin Haney. His victories stand alone, unquestioned, never requiring comparisons to validate them. The only time the conversation flips is when Haney secures a major win, and his supporters immediately look upward, trying to reach Tank's level. That dynamic speaks volumes. It exposes a hierarchy that exists not just in belts or divisions, but in cultural impact, drawing power, and the weight a fighter carries within the sport. Haney's accomplishments are real. Becoming undisputed at lightweight, securing titles at 140 and now 147, and maintaining an undefeated professional record is an impressive resume by any measure. He has moved through divisions, collected belts, and proven himself technically gifted and disciplined. In terms of pure accolades, he stands among the most decorated young fighters of his generation. But boxing is not simply a bookkeeping exercise where championships alone determine greatness. The sport judges accomplishments not only by titles, but by the significance of the victories, the opponents faced, and the imprint left on the industry. That is where the comparison begins to shift. Gervonta Davis has beaten champions in the very division Haney now campaigns in. Mario Barrios and Rolly Romero both held titles, and Tank defeated them decisively. If Barrios loses to Ryan Garcia in their upcoming showdown, Tank will have beaten 3 champions who held belts in the same weight class where Haney has now claimed only one. Even without counting his 140 title, Tank already stands among the most impactful multi-division fighters in boxing. His power, style, and ability to end fights explosively have made him a must-see attraction. And that may be the most significant distinction. Tank is the face of American boxing. He sells out arenas, commands enormous pay-per-view numbers, and draws mainstream attention in a way few boxers today can. When Jake Paul needed a replacement for his fight schedule after pulling out of negotiations, the first names discussed were not Devin Haney, not Shakur Stevenson, not Teofimo Lopez. The conversation revolved around Terence Crawford and Anthony Joshua, the biggest commercial forces available. Devin Haney's name never entered the discussion. He may be talented, accomplished, and admired by hardcore fans, but he does not yet move the needle in the way Tank does. Impact matters. Influence matters. Legacy is shaped not only by belts, but by moments that define eras. Tank Davis has become a cultural figure, a fighter whose knockouts dominate social media, whose entrances electrify crowds, and whose fights become events. Haney has skill and achievements, but he has not created that same phenomenon. When Tank fights, the world watches. When Haney fights, the boxing world watches. The resumed conversation also turns toward quality of opposition. Haney's recent run includes a decisive yet criticized win over Regis Prograis, who many believe was past his prime. His controversial victory over Vasyl Lomachenko left lingering doubts in the minds of fans. His loss to Ryan Garcia, later overturned due to failed drug tests, remains a psychological stain on his career. Many still view that night as a legitimate defeat, regardless of paperwork. Meanwhile, Tank's resume features fighters who are undefeated, physically dangerous, and carrying momentum when he fought them. His knockouts were not merely victories. They were statements that shifted narratives and cemented his reputation. Another factor often overlooked is pursuit. Fighters in Haney's era are chasing Tank, not the other way around. Shakur Stevenson wants Tank. Teofimo Lopez wants Tank. Ryan Garcia wanted Tank first, long before facing Devin. Even Haney's supporters frame his success relative to Tank's standing. That dynamic highlights who truly sits atop the sport's hierarchy. Yet, the discussion becomes more intriguing when examining the expectations placed on each fighter. When Tank wins, nobody asks whether he caught Devin. His accomplishments stand independently. When Devin wins, the first question becomes whether he has finally reached Tank's level. That alone suggests that the sport views Tank as the benchmark. Still, Haney deserves recognition for what he has achieved. He has proven willing to take risks, move up divisions, and face skilled opponents. His career is not defined by avoidance or inactivity. He seeks challenges and continues to build upon his foundation. But when measuring who has the stronger resume today, the answer leans toward Tank. He has beaten more champions in the division Haney now occupies. He has delivered more defining moments. He has shaped the sport's direction and captured the public's imagination in ways few fighters today can replicate. The future, however, remains unwritten. Boxing careers can pivot dramatically with a single fight. If Haney collects more belts at welterweight, defeats major names, and becomes a commanding presence in the division, the narrative may shift. If Tank falters or stagnates, the conversation could transform. But at this moment, Tank Davis stands as the more impactful and accomplished figure. Fans may debate titles, division counts, or sanctioning body recognition, but the sport ultimately elevates those who leave a mark that transcends statistics. Tank has done that. Devin is still pursuing it. And until the day arrives when people ask whether Tank has caught Devin, rather than the reverse, the hierarchy remains intact. What do you think? Has Devin Haney truly closed the gap? Or does Tank Davis still hold the superior resume and impact on boxing? Is it belts that matter most, or the influence a fighter has on the sport and its audience? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe for more dramatic and insightful boxing coverage. The debate is far from over, and the next chapter could change everything.